Hello and welcome to all the men and women of the West. I'm Joe, here from my co-host Stan.
Hello and greetings.
Today we're continuing with our podcast about Red Nails. This, novella by Howard. It's quite good. Now, Conan and Valeria make for the Tower, discuss how Conan was once a Cossack before he was a pirate, that is to say a raider in the East, that he was a bandit, but he dreams of being a Hyborian king. Valeria is confirmed to be from Aquilonia. You can already see her coming to adore Conan. She's awed by the grandeur of his dreams. As he's basically talking about what he's going to achieve, I think she likes his ambition. They come to a vault full of jade and lapis lazuli, which depicts men in art. They all have Asiatic appearances. Conan, recognizing these kind of people from his times as a Afghulis chief Himalayan mountains, Conan describes peace with a certain amount of disgust, which, okay, some of us love the idea of peace. I guess Conan has nothing but scorn for it. And Conan goes in one direction, Valeria goes in another, till she runs into a dude. The new guy ends up guiding her after she kills an apparition and finds out that there's an entire clan of monster men of sorts. There's a rival clan to this guy's. The guy introduces himself as Techotl, and his tribe is the Sultalan, a race descended from a mixture of Stygians and Tlaxilans. They sound very Mesoamerican.
I got that impression as well.
They apparently are quite good with steel for smithing. Conan then ends up killing a demon known as the Crawler, which apparently these people had struggled to kill and didn't believe could be killed. They then come to a door in chapter 3 where there's an eye hole. Just say, "We swear we're on your side. Just let us in already."
Open sesame.
Yeah, and Sesame Street opens up to them, and they enter, with their guide introducing them to his chieftain, who is called Prince Olmec. Nice little nod to the Olmecs right there. Tascela also greets them, and they discuss how there's many traps within the city, go into some detail about the war, with Tascela kind of unable to tear her eyes off Valeria as she's studying her hungrily, which kind of disturbs Valeria and Conan. Conan brags of having killed the dragon, to the amazement of these people, who have almost never been able to do it. They then describe how their people fled from the king of Stygia, who desired one of their maidens. It's discussed how the ancestors of Olmec did not build the city. They discovered it. It was after they fled southwards from the Stygian king they rebelled against and defeated in battle. They came to the forest where the dragons were. The dragons tore them to pieces, whereupon they fled into said city. The city was called Suchotl. They camped before the city, not daring to leave the plain, and shot arrows at their people from the walls. With the Tlaxitlans imprisoned upon the plains, slaves slipped out from the city into the camp, one of their own blood, who with a band of exploring soldiers had apparently wandered into the forest long ago, when he was but a young man. This young man had been taken into the city to dwell in servitude. His name was Tolkemec, and he promised to open the gates to the warriors. He asked only that all captives taken be delivered into his hands. They agreed, and the battle duly happened, and they then enslaved the people and proceeded to build up. The Suchotl people then dwelt for a time in the city they had taken, cultivating the fertile plain. Their wise men learned how to grow fruit within the city, and things were good for a while. Olmec's people slew the people of Suchotl, all except 100, which were given living into the hands of Tolkemec, and he tortured them to death for many nights. So Tolkemec was not a great guy. A lot happened. The two tribes, they ended up in such a terrible war and inflicting such horrors upon each other that even Conan is horrified. Conan immediately wants to leave. He's just kind of staring at Olmec, who's gloating about what they've done, and he's going, "Okay, I've just about had enough. I'm ready to go." With Olmec then tempting the greedy duo with treasures. Valeria finding pleasure in later shutting her door to when night falls, because they're given quarters after this terrible story and after they agree to help. She's given quarters, and Valeria then shuts the door in Conan's frustrated face because she's being a tease. Each floor apparently has a different name. There's the eagle tier, the ape tier, the tiger tier, the serpents tier, the Pikachu's boogaloo tier. Oh, I'm sorry. That one, no. Howard did not predict that. The handmaiden of Tascela ends up revealing to Valeria that all the misery of these people stems from Tascela, who is a witch. So, yeah, these two chapters were pretty good. It was mostly them getting to the Suchotl people and hearing from Olmec the terrible story of how these people came into this city and what they did to the original inhabitants after the original inhabitants were less than welcoming to them. What did you think of just the horrors that were to be found in this city?
I couldn't help but think of Aztec mythology and Aztec history, where you did have some of those tribes that would come in, slaughter the previous people, and they'd take these buildings, these palaces, these towns for their own.
Kind of matches with what happened with the Aztecs. They did not originally have Tenochtitlan, but they came to the city, found it already built, and likely, though they did not record this part, probably slaughtered the original inhabitants. They believe that it was built by the gods. They probably slaughtered the original inhabitants and took it for themselves and made it their capital and even expanded it. So there is a healthy dose of references to Mesoamerican history and mythology. This novella could have been a great Hammer era movie. You could probably do this entire story in an hour and a half.
I was just thinking that it'd make for a great horror flick.
Of Conan or something. Or even do it in the 80s as an hour and a half long flick. I doubt it'll ever get made into a movie, because there's certain elements of it that I don't think the studios would be able to keep from butchering. That said, tell us what you think of the events of these two chapters. Next time we'll be doing chapters 4 and 5. And until then, don't forget to smash that like and that subscribe button as though you were Conan smashing his enemies to itty bitty pieces.